A poor family fakes their way into a rich man's house. They lie, cheat, and replace every servant one by one. But beneath the floors of this beautiful mansion, someone else is already living there. And once the secret is exposed, no one escapes without blood on their hands. Our story begins in Seoul, South Korea, with the Kim family. They live in a cramped, damp, semi-basement apartment, below street level, where they can barely afford their meager existence. The father, Kim Ki-taek, is unemployed. The mother, Chung-suk, is a former athlete. Their son, Ki-woo, is a smart but uneducated young man. And their daughter, Ki-jung, is a talented but frustrated artist. To survive, they fold pizza boxes for a local delivery chain, a job they are barely competent at. One day, Ki-woo's wealthy university friend, Min-hyuk, visits. He brings a symbolic gift, a scholar's stone, or suseok, a traditional decorative rock meant to bring wealth and success. To the Kims, it's just a rock, but they accept it graciously. Min-hyuk has a more valuable offer. He is leaving to study abroad, and has been tutoring the teenage daughter of the incredibly wealthy Park family. He is secretly in love with her, and plans to propose when she's in university. He wants Ki-woo to take over the tutoring job, trusting him to watch over her. To secure this opportunity, Ki-woo, with Ki-jung's help, forges a university diploma, presenting himself as Kevin, an educated tutor from Yonsei University. He travels to the affluent neighborhood where the Parks live. Their modern architectural marvel of a home, designed by a famous architect, is a world away from his semi-basement. It sits on a hill, bathed in sunlight. He meets the elegant and somewhat naive Park Yeon-kyo, the lady of the house. She is less interested in his forged credentials and more in the recommendation from Min-hyuk. She observes his first lesson with her daughter, Da-hai. Ki-woo proves to be a charismatic and effective tutor, charming both mother and daughter. Mrs. Park is so impressed she pays him in advance and dubs him Kevin. During the visit, Ki-woo meets the Park's young, hyperactive son, Dae-song. Mrs. Park mentions the boy is artistically gifted but a handful, and they are looking for an art therapist. A brilliant, opportunistic idea flashes in Ki-woo's mind. He tells Mrs. Park he happens to know a remarkable art tutor, a friend's cousin who studied in America. He is, of course, describing his own sister, Ki-jung. The next day, Ki-jung arrives at the Park residence, posing as Jessica, a sophisticated and stern art therapist. She quickly impresses Mrs. Park with her confident, almost psychic assessment of Da-song's traumatic visions, securing the job with ease. The first two parasites have successfully attached themselves to their wealthy host. Ki-woo, now Kevin, finds himself developing a calculated affection for Da-hai, seeing her as a potential gateway to this luxurious life. Meanwhile, Mrs. Park grows anxious about her new art teacher's methods. She brings Juice downstairs as an excuse to check on the lesson. Jessica confidently tells her that Da-song is a talented but traumatized artist who needs serious therapy, further cementing her indispensability. That evening, the patriarch of the house, Mr. Park Dong-ik, arrives home. Noting the late hour, he instructs his driver to take the art teacher home. In the car, the driver asks for Jessica's address. She avoids answering, asking to be dropped at the subway station instead. Seizing an opportunity, she deliberately leaves her underwear in the back seat of the luxury car. Her plan is to get the driver fired so her father, Kim Ki-taek, a former chauffeur, can take his place. The plan works, but not as she imagined. Mr. Park finds the underwear and, with his wife, jumps to a salacious conclusion. They assume the driver had a sexual encounter in their car, possibly with a woman on drugs. Fearing scandal, they decide to fire him discreetly. When Jessica returns for her next session, Mrs. Park asks if anything inappropriate happened in the car. Jessica plays innocent, claiming she got out at the station. Mrs. Park then reveals they fired the driver for disgusting behavior and asks if Jessica knows a replacement. Jessica recommends her uncle, a man with impeccable experience driving for a Mercedes-Benz dealership. Of course, this is her father, Kim Ki-taek. Through a rehearsed performance at an interview, Ki-taek lands the chauffeur job, mastering the luxury car's features just in time. The third parasite is in place. Now, only one obstacle remains. The longtime housekeeper, Moon Gwang. She has served in the house for decades, since the previous architect owner, and is practically part of the foundation. She is fiercely loyal and nearly impossible to dislodge. The Kims discover their opportunity when Da-hai casually mentions that the housekeeper has a severe, potentially deadly allergy to peaches. The Kim family concocts a devious and dangerous plan. Ki-jung collects peach fuzz. The next time Moon Gwang is in the house, Ki-woo secretly sprinkles the fuzz on her, triggering a violent allergic reaction. As she gasps for breath, Kai-taek, waiting outside, follows her to the hospital. There, he secretly takes a photo of her receiving medical treatment. He then goes to Mrs. Park and, with feigned concern, shows her the photo. He whispers that the housekeeper has tuberculosis, a highly contagious disease she's hiding, and that she was heard coughing up blood. He warns that young Da-song is in grave danger. To sell the lie, Ki-jung once again sprinkles peach fuzz on the housekeeper's belongings just before Mrs. Park arrives home. Mrs. Park finds Moon Gwang in the midst of another coughing fit and, seeing what she believes is blood, actually hot sauce planted by the Kims, on a tissue, is horrified. Under the guise of protecting her family, she fires the weeping, confused housekeeper on the spot. The path is now clear for the final parasite. After firing Moon Gwang, the Kims complete their infiltration. Ki-woo and Ki-jung recommend their esteemed housekeeper, a woman with incredible references. Of course, this is their mother, Chung-suk. The entire Kim family is now employed by the Parks, living a double life as unrelated, highly qualified staff. They are the perfect parasites, feeding off the wealth of their oblivious hosts. But their carefully constructed facade shows its first crack. Young Da-song, the Park's son, remarks that all the new staff, the tutor, the art therapist, the driver, and the housekeeper, smell the same. It's the distinct, inescapable scent of their semi-basement home, a smell of poverty they cannot wash off. Terrified, the Kims resolve to use different soaps and detergents to mask their shared odor, desperate not to lose their golden tickets. Their paradise seems secure when the Park family leaves for a camping trip to celebrate Da-song's birthday. For a weekend, the Kims have the majestic house to themselves. They revel in the luxury, drinking Mr. Park's expensive whiskey, lounging in the bathtubs, and imagining this life as their own. Ki-woo even fantasizes aloud about marrying Dae-hai and legally inheriting the home. They are like cockroaches, thriving in the dark when the homeowners are away. But their celebration is shattered by the doorbell. A torrential downpour is raging outside. Chung-suk answers, and to her horror, it's Moon Gwang, the former housekeeper, soaked and desperate. She claims she left a personal item in the basement and begs to be let in to retrieve it. Reluctantly, Chung-suk opens the door, and the other Kims scramble to hide. Moon Gwang goes straight to the basement. When she doesn't return, a suspicious Chung-suk follows. She finds Moon Gwang moving a heavy storage shelf. Behind it is a hidden door, blending perfectly with the wall. Moon Gwang opens it, revealing a deep, secret bunker carved into the foundations of the house. She descends, and a stunned Chung-suk follows. Inside the dank concrete chamber, they find a man living like a rat. This is Gun-sai, Moon Gwang's husband. She has been secretly hiding him there for 4 years to escape loan sharks. The bunker was built by the original architect as a nuclear shelter, unknown even to the Parks. A tense confrontation erupts. Chung-suk demands they leave or she'll call the police. Moon Gwang pleads for mercy, explaining the debt collectors will kill her husband. In the chaos, Ki-taek, Ki-woo, and Ki-jung, who were hiding, lose their footing and tumble into the open, revealing the entire Kim family's presence. Moon Gwang's shock turns to grim understanding. She sees the truth. The entire family are con artists who stole her job. She grabs her phone and starts recording them, capturing their desperate pleas and their familial bonds, evidence that will destroy them. The hunters have suddenly become the hunted, trapped in a secret lair deeper than their own deception. She captures Ki-woo calling Ki-taek dad, proving their familial conspiracy. She triumphantly declares she will send the video to Mrs. Park and starts to lead her husband, Gun-sae, up the stairs. In the main basement, she forces the Kims to sit with their hands up, recording a second video of them reveling in their employer's absence. Gun-sae, almost philosophical, notes that he too lived as a parasite in this house for years, but never damaged anything, unlike them. A desperate struggle erupts as the Kims try to seize the phone. Moon Gwang fights back fiercely, even hitting Ki-taek with a bottle. In a moment of brutal irony, Ki-jung remembers the housekeeper's fatal weakness. She runs to the kitchen, grabs a peach, and grates the fuzz directly onto Moon Gwang's face, triggering a violent, suffocating allergic attack. In the chaos, Ki-woo grabs the phone and deletes the incriminating videos, but their victory is short-lived. The house phone rings. It's Mrs. Park. The camping trip is canceled due to the storm. The family is just 8 minutes away and wants a specific noodle dish prepared. Panic consumes the Kims. They have minutes to transform the party-wrecked mansion back into a pristine home and hide all evidence of their secret. They drag the semi-conscious Moon Guang and her husband back into the secret bunker and lock the door. They frantically clean, but time runs out. The Park family's car pulls into the driveway. Like cockroaches scattering when the light turns on, the Kims dive under the large living room coffee table, hiding in plain sight as the Parks enter their own home. From the bunker, Moon Guang makes a desperate bid for freedom. But Chung Suk intercepts her at the top of the stairs and kicks her back down, where she suffers a fatal head injury on the concrete floor. Ki-tak goes down to deal with the aftermath and finds Gunsei flicking a light switch on and off in a frantic pattern. Gunsei explains its Morse code, a message to the outside world that the Parks would never understand. Ki-tak, in a cold moment of decision, ties the traumatized man to a pipe and leaves him in the dark with his dead wife. Upstairs, the Parks decide to sleep in the living room. Da-song wants to camp in the garden for his birthday. As Mr. Park settles on the couch, he wrinkles his nose. He mentions a strange smell. He says it reminds him of the smell that sometimes comes from people in the subway, or from their old driver, Kim. It's the smell of poverty, of the semi-basement. Lying hidden just inches below him, Ki-tak hears this casual, dehumanizing remark. His expression hardens. A deep, silent rage begins to boil within him. The casual, humiliating comment about his smell festers in Ki-tak's mind as he hides. Later that night, once the Parks are asleep, the Kim family silently crawls out from under the table and flees the house through the garage. They don't return to a home, but to a disaster. The torrential rain has flooded their entire neighborhood. Their semi-basement apartment is completely submerged, their few belongings ruined. The social divide is visually stark. From the hilltop mansion untouched by the flood, they descend into a literal underworld of sewage and loss. As they wade through the filthy water to salvage what they can, Ki-woo and Ki-jung ask their father about the two people trapped in the bunker. Ki-tak dismisses it, telling them to go to the emergency shelter. Meanwhile, in the secret bunker, a tragic scene unfolds. Moon Guang, suffering from her head injury, tells her husband she is dying. Gunsei, still tied up, can do nothing but watch helplessly as his wife passes away. After she dies, he breaks free from his bonds. Consumed by grief and madness, he begins flicking the light switch in a frantic, repeating pattern. A Morse code SOS to a world that cannot see or understand him. The next day, the Parks decide to throw an impromptu birthday party for Da-song in their sunny, pristine garden to make up for the ruined camping trip. The Kims, now homeless and wearing donated clothes, are forced to return to work, playing their roles while internally shattered. Ki-tak drives Mr. Park, who notices his driver's sullen expression and tells him to cheer up, because he's paying him overtime, another tone-deaf remark that deepens the invisible wound. At the party, the Kims move like ghosts. Ki-jung whispers to her mother that they need to check on the people in the bunker. But Ki-woo has a darker plan. He takes the Scholar's Stone, the gift meant to bring wealth, intending to use it as a weapon to kill Gunsei and secure their secret forever. He descends into the bunker. Gunsei, now completely unhinged by his wife's death, attacks Ki-woo with feral rage. A brutal fight ensues. Ki-woo manages to escape back up the stairs, but Gunsei follows, bludgeoning Ki-woo in the head with the very stone, leaving him severely injured and bleeding on the wooden floor. Chaos erupts at the elegant garden party. Gunsei emerges into the sunlight like a monster from the id, holding a large kitchen knife. In a shocking, swift act of violence, he stabs Ki-jung in the heart. As guests scream and scatter, he then charges towards Chung Suk. In a primal fight for survival, Chung Suk, a former medalist, grabs a skewer from the barbecue and, with a fierce yell, fatally stabs Gunsei. During this horror, Da-song, the Park's son, faints from the shock. Mr. Park barks orders at the motionless Ki-tak to get the car keys to take his son to the hospital. As Ki-tak kneels over his dying son, Ki-woo, he sees Mr. Park wrinkle his nose in disgust at the smell of Gunsei's blood. That same smell of the lower class, of the semi-basement. In that instant, something in Ki-tak snaps. The accumulated humiliations, the invisible lines, the casual cruelty of that wrinkled nose override all reason. He looks at Mr. Park, picks up the knife, and in one fluid, shocking motion, stabs him to death. After killing Mr. Park, Ki-tak vanishes into the chaos. In the aftermath, Ki-woo survives his head injury but suffers brain damage, leaving him with cognitive impairments and inappropriate emotional responses. like laughing when he learns of his sister's death. Chung-suk is placed on probation for killing Gyun-sai in self-defense. Months later, Ki-woo and his mother live in a new, slightly better semi-basement apartment. Ki-woo often hikes up to a spot on a hill where he can see the Park's old house. A new wealthy family now lives there. One night, as he looks at the house, he notices a light in a window flickering on and off in a strange, rhythmic pattern. He recognizes it. It's Morse code. He deciphers the message and is stunned. It's a message from his father. Ki-taek never escaped. After the murder, he doubled back, snuck into the house, and descended into the secret bunker, where he has been living in hiding ever since. When the new family moved in, he became the ultimate parasite, sneaking out at night to steal food. The flickering light is his nightly attempt to communicate with his son, a desperate signal thrown into the void. Ki-woo now understands his father's impossible dream. He devises a plan of his own. He writes a long letter to his father, promising that he will one day earn enough money to buy that very house. Only then, when they are the legal owners, will his father be able to finally walk up the stairs and into the sunlight. He vows to work tirelessly toward this goal. The film ends with Ki-woo imagining that future reunion, a beautiful, impossible fantasy. But in reality, he is still in his semi-basement, writing the letter, with the monumental, likely unachievable task of buying a multi-million-dollar mansion ahead of him. The cycle of aspiration, desperation, and insurmountable class barriers remains unbroken. The parasites, whether in a bunker or a basement, are still trapped, dreaming of a light they can never truly reach. On IMDb, the film has an average rating of 8.5 out of 10, based on over 1.1 million viewer ratings. We hope you enjoyed this movie explanation. If you did, please share it with your movie lover friends and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. If you want a recap of your favorite movie, comment the movie name below. Thank you for watching.